Okay, so what's up, folks? My name is KL Smith. I'm one of the community managers here in Fortnite. I'm joined by Cameron Winston, who is one of our systems designers. Cameron, what's up? How you doing?
Hey there, what's going on?
Nothing much. Today we're going to take some time to walk you guys through the Defend the Fort gameplay that we released. Cameron's going to explain all of the things that kind of happen throughout the course of that gameplay. So this is kind of like a director's cut for you guys. And hopefully it adds some clarity for you. You guys get a better sense of what Fortnite is, and you guys get to meet Cameron and me, and we get to have fun. So we're going to go ahead and start it. All right, so that first little bit, we saw a lot of exploration, and there's some treasure chests, and there's a little bit of looks like some gatherings of some resources and whatnot. Can you kind of explain some of the benefits of like exploration in Fortnite?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so Fortnite is at its core, we call it an action building game, but it's definitely exploration is right at the heart of Fortnite. So we're putting you in these kind of environments, and there's an element of mystery, and the world is sort of unexplored, and it's got a lot of untapped potential, and that potential can come in the guise of there's treasure chests certainly, but there's lots of raw natural resources. There's metals, there's wood, there's stone that people can collect, and they need these metals to construct the buildings that they're going to use to defend themselves to achieve a victory in the game. There's also lots of cool things to find in terms of craft ingredients to allow people to put together various items, defensive things, traps, weapons, all manner of gear, special class items. So as players start to explore the game and progress down the campaign later on, they start to find cooler and bigger things and nifty surprises, which I won't spoil any of them because that's what a surprise means.
Right there, we just saw looked like some type of portal thing that was activated.
We call it the gate.
Okay.
So the gate, and in order to close the gate, you have to build an Atlas device on it.
Okay.
And the Atlas device is what you saw, that metallic structure that the constructor was placing on it. And basically, once you place the Atlas device, that kind of makes the storm come in a little bit, and the storm is where all of the creatures of Fortnite come from. These creatures aren't really too pleased with the fact that you want to close the gate, and they're going to try to stop you. So it's up to you to kind of make sure you defend the gate, the Atlas device and the gate, give it enough time to actually close. And during that, they're going to be attacking you with everything they got. So you better make sure you have a really nice fort to defend, and that's where the traps come in. That's where the building comes in, and all the structures, and you're going to have a fight on your hands.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So I think we're going to take a look at some of the building. Those forts.
See how dynamic it is right now. He can just change the structure of the buildings on the fly to make the curves. You can see putting windows to make things easier to shoot. If you need a door, just bam, suddenly you got a door. I mean, I wish I could do that, like just put a door in my wall, but you got there's building codes and stuff like that. They don't have any of that in Fortnite.
Right. Anything goes. So some traps.
And you can do traps. The traps go on ceilings, they go on walls, they go on the floor, and there comes all different shapes and sizes. They got electricity traps and gas traps and spike traps, and they're obviously meant to do bad things to people when they walk into them, so it helps keep your fort a little bit safer.
Right.
See a little mine there. All those little mines are parts that you could explore in the world.
You mentioned some of the traps. What kind of role do they play in Fortnite? Being able to use some of those traps that we saw. We saw some on the ceilings. We saw some on the walls. We saw some on the ground. What type of defenses would you set up in a scenario where you get to utilize some of our traps?
Well, I mean, the enemies in Fortnite present a lot of different challenges. There's many vectors of attack. I get to say vectors. It's a really technical term, right? Like vectors of attack. So they have aerial vectors to attack you with bombardment. Some of them just walk right up to you. So there's an element of tower defense kind of gameplay in there for sure. But you're actually controlling the landscape. So there's a lot of player agency in the fact that you get to kind of decide, okay, I know that we're building on the side of a mountain here, and there's this the husks are going to come from over here. So we have a definite attack angle here. I'm going to put some spike traps here. This is a really important choke point, so I'm going to put some gas traps, some lightning traps, and you want to build your base in such a way that you can actually outfit it with traps in the way that makes the most sense and works for your playstyle. because it's also going to depend on how well you explore it, because traps are require raw materials, they require ingredients. So did you find the traps, did you find enough of the things? Well, that depends on how well you explored the map before you started building. So a lot of this is kind of going to depend on how players want to approach the problems that we give them. So I expect some players are going to just maybe they won't like traps as much, they want to just make a lot of bullets and shoot. Other players are going to be all about the traps. They're going to have this intricately laid out base that are going to present a lot of challenges for the husk to even get to the Atlas. So
and then they're going to face the design or the architect designer, the AI,
the AI director.
Yes, there we go.
Director, like in a movie. The movie of your death, starring you.
That's what's going to happen. They're going to find out how brutal the director is.
Yes, it's an adaptive AI that's intended to not be just a one-trick pony. So we're hoping that players will get a lot of fun and longevity out of challenging the AI director.
Oh, yeah, it's gonna be awesome. All right, let's continue moving.
More movie. Because he's activating the Atlas here, which is starting the encounter. So players kind of decide when they're ready to go. See, now they're having a bad time because there's all these bombshells throwing their attacks at the base. That Dragon Slash. Powerful attacks from the ninja. He's our edged weapon master.
All right, so we saw a lot of the ninja right there, and you mentioned he's our edged weapon master. Can you talk a little bit about the ninja and what makes him special?
So when approaching class design in this game, obviously we have a lot of sort of like expected roles to fill. We wanted to make sure that when we're approaching the class design, we're not going to be creating like MMO triangle, rock paper scissors kind of gameplay completely, because we want players to be able to experience the entire game of Fortnite, while we don't want to just be like, okay, well, you're a ninja and therefore you can only use swords, or you're a commando, you can only shoot. So it was really important to us to make sure that all of our classes were able to engage in all of the aspects of Fortnite, which is building, exploring, and defending the fort in combat. So the ninja accentuates melee combat, but he's certainly not limited to it. So if you want to be like the John Woo ninja and just jump it through the air and shoot people with guns, you could totally do that. And
pigeon fly across the screen.
Absolutely. He's what makes him a ninja is he's highly mobile. He's good at melee combat. He's got a few like ninja-y tricks. Like we saw the Dragon Slash there. Like it kind of like just lets him cut through enemies. He's got another mechanic called Shadow Stance, where he can go into Shadow Stance and he gets a little bit evasive. He's harder to see. He's got smoke bombs. He's got throwing stars. He's got the whole kit. But like I said, you can still play him like a ranged person if you want. The main thing about the ninja that's going to make him appealing is kind of like we're going for certain types of players. So he's more for the player that is interested in sort of active combat and using their abilities at the right time. Like he's super mobile, he's super agile as long as he picks his engagements wisely, but he's not necessarily as durable as the commander or the constructor is. So players who choose poorly, as they say, may find themselves in very bad situations.
Okay. All right. And looks like now we're on the commando.
Yep. You see him there shooting down enemy husks from his high vantage point.
All right. So there we saw the commander. Looks like weapon specialist.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about commander?
So the commando is a class for the player who is like, I like playing shooting games. I just want to kind of be the shooting exemplar. So she's kind of made to be more of a just a ranged weapons character. She's especially good at assault weapons, but again, like we embraced if you want to be a shotgun commando or a pistol commando, whatever. There's still gameplay in there for you. She's a little bit slower than Ninja. She's a lot tougher, and she relies on her superior guns to win the day. She's got a few abilities like incendiary rounds where she can light people on fire, and she gets a lot of extra ammo mileage out of that. She's got grenades she can throw, which can give her some area control. But mostly she's just about picking up an assault rifle and shooting things in the face, and not super complicated there.
Right.
Again, it's a stark contrast to the Ninja, whereas the Ninja kind of is like, needs to make sure that he's in the right place at the right time. The Commander doesn't really care about the right place at the right time as long as she's got a gun pointed at you. So she could just sort of take down whatever challenge she needs to, and just with guns, which is kind of like, that's for that player that wants to experience that.
Okay, so one of the other things I want to kind of point out is that we saw both the male and the female version of Mando. Are all the characters going to have something?
Yeah, we intend all of our characters to be not gender locked. So
Okay.
you'll be able to play the male, the females. Just I try to switch my pronouns around so everyone feels included.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Looks like we're on the constructor. So we saw a brief bit of the constructor there. I think there's a lot of intricate detail with the constructor that goes a little bit more so than what we've shown. But can you kind of talk about the constructor,
Absolutely.
maybe both from an early standpoint, which was earlier, kind of building up the fort, and like combat?
Yeah, sure. So the constructor is actually an interesting class because, like, in most games that have any sort of RPG elements, you're very used to having, like, a tough, durable class, and you have your damage dealing class, and you have your healing class, and they call it the Holy Trinity. But Fortnite's a little bit different in the sense that we don't, have tab targeting. We have, we're action building. We have, real time combat. So it doesn't really make sense to try to implement traditional RPG classes into a game like this. So what we do have is we have exploration, we have building, and then we have combat. So Ninja is an example of melee combat. Mando is an example of ranged combat. The constructor, his real main thing is he's about building, defending the base. So the constructor can make tougher walls than anyone else. He's got the ability to upgrade walls to level 3. Where everyone else only can build level 2 walls. So brings just better walls. He's got this ability called BASE, which BASE stands for the Basic Automated Sentinel Edifice. And when he puts it down, anything in the area of the base becomes tougher, cheaper to build, cheaper to upgrade. Depending on how they specialize, they can create damaging fields that cause enemies that walk into them to take damage.
Okay.
The ability we saw right there is called Plasma Pulse, where the constructor can drop down a little grenade that spews out little plasma explosions that can keep enemies at bay. And he's also quite a hand with blunt weapons, like you saw there,
Right.
the baseball Louisville Slugger he got. His main benefit to the team is he builds bigger bases for cheaper and faster than anyone else. And having him on your team is a huge force multiplier when it comes to constructing those bases that are harder to break into. Okay. And I think that a main advantage to having him on your team is going to be that benefit he brings to the base building and the resource utilization, which is you just get more base for less money. Okay. As a way to view it.
Okay, awesome. I think we're about to round out the gameplay. See a flinger back there.
Yep, he's throwing husks at the base. And as you can see here, the parting shot, that's the storm. That's where the bad guys come from, and it's coming for you. Maybe you. Maybe who knows? I don't know who's coming for. Yep. But, in the world of Fortnite, it's a dangerous place where bad weather can really ruin your day.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed this breakdown. Thanks so much, Cameron, for stopping by, taking this time to talk to us about the game. Really appreciate it. For all you guys out there, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more Fortnite stuff, and sign up for the alpha if you haven't. So,
come play our game. It's fun.
Yes.
We promise.
Yes.
I promise.
We'll see you guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.